Greetings, YouTube. So the Justice Department is currently in the process of recategorizing marijuana from a a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 medication drug. Now, Class 1, the Schedule 1 drugs, are up there with heroin. And that is not what marijuana is. It just isn't. Cannabis does not have the same effect on a human as heroin does, nor is it as addictive as heroin. Um, they're going to be categorizing it as a 3, which puts it in there with ketamine or ketamine, I can't remember how to say that one, and anabolic steroids. And it also lists it as having medicinal purposes, and it does. There are things that you can use marijuana for when you're ill that can help you. Glaucoma, your appetite when you're undergoing chemotherapy, things like that have absolutely proven medical purposes. I know someone that takes it because they take a gummy to help them sleep because they're 80 and they have a hard time sleeping. They're not doing this to get high. They're doing this because they want to sleep and their doctor has allowed them. So that's a perfectly reasonable purpose to take, you know, cannabis because you want to rest, which is what cannabis is really good at. And I'm not a cannabis user. I've never been a cannabis user. I've haven't used recreational chemicals since I was 22. It's been a while. I'm 59. But I fully endorse the legalization of cannabis and the decriminalization of all other drugs. All of them. Treat addiction as a medical, not a criminal issue, because that's going to save lives and it's going to help people rebuild their lives after addiction. Because if the one thing you don't want to give an addict is a criminal record, because that's not going to help them either kick their habit or start anew. It is going to cripple them socially and fiscally forever. And of course, that's kind of what the people who want these laws in place want to do. They want to punish people because they feel that punishment is the best method because they don't understand how humans work. They don't understand how addiction functions and that if you are an addict, there really isn't anything you won't do to get that next hit. Um, and that's why heroin and cocaine are so dangerous. And uh, amphetamines like fentanyl, was it what's the carfentanil? I can't remember what the second one is. But yeah, they're incredibly, unbelievably dangerous. But marijuana is not amongst that class. It isn't as dangerous. And it should be allowed to be used legally everywhere. But at least the Justice Department is moving in the correct direction, which making it something that is considered to be in the same category as, ketamine or anabolic steroids, and that it has legitimate medical uses, which it does. And we've known this for decades. It is just that the social conservatives have fought tooth and nail to not let that happen because they're convinced that their worldview is the best worldview, even though there are addicts amongst social conservatives. Now tell me, if the socially conservative worldview, which views addiction as something which should be punished, why are social conservatives out there who are addicts? You're telling me that punishing someone for an addiction will keep them from having an addiction. The threat of punishment will keep them from having an addiction. And yet, there are social conservatives who are addicts. So which is it? Does it work or does it not work? And if it doesn't work, why don't we come up with a better method? Why don't we treat addiction medically and not criminally? That seems to be the ethical, the moral, and the fiscally responsible thing to do.